Hey everybody, this is Longhorn Confidential for Wednesday, August 7th. I'm Danny Davis with the Austin American-Statesman. I'm joined by Cedric Golden, Thomas Jones. Today's been kind of a big news day at Texas. We're
Yeah.
recording just after 12, after everyone got their lunch. And over the lunch break, Khalid Lockett, a five-star receiver out of Garland, Sashi High School, committed to Texas. So obviously that's a big get for Steve Sarkisian, big get for Chris Jackson. Our website, statesman.com, doesn't cover recruiting as exclusively as our friends over at 247, Orange Bloods, or Inside Texas, but I can do math. My wife's a math teacher, and I know 5 stars is more than 4 stars, which is more than 3 stars. So obviously, that is a talented receiver that Texas can expect to get on campus in the near future. So I know Thomas wrote up something a little bit ago, so check that out on statesman.com. But that's the good news at Texas. Let's talk a little bit bad news. We're speaking on Wednesday, as I said. Tuesday night, Anwar Richardson over at Orange Bloods reported that CJ Baxter had exited the first fully padded practice with a knee injury, the sophomore running back over there at Texas. We're still waiting to hear an official update from Texas. Steve Sarkisian probably won't talk to the media until next Monday, so we'll see if Texas releases something or if we just kind of have to hear from our sources and hear from other reporters. But if this injury is serious, Sed, we'll start with you. What does Texas do at running back?
Pray. I mean, this time last year, they just had a wealth of riches in that backfield, man. You had Jonathan Brooks, you had CJ, you had Jadon Blue, you had the OG Keelan Robinson, young Trey Wisner. They're not as deep at running back this year, so that is the big concern. Jadon Blue is the obvious choice to replace Cedric if this injury is as serious as some believe, and that's going to put a lot of onus on some unproven quantities. Jared Gibson, who was hailed as one of the best running backs out of Florida, and then you got Christian Clark, who when they signed him out of Phoenix, they were calling him the next Bijan Robinson. I'm like, slow down on that one. So that's going to put a lot of more pressure on Quinn Ewers and his really talented receiving core. They may end up being more of a throwing offense than we anticipated, and we all know that Sark likes to run to set up the pass, but it might be vice versa if CJ Baxter's not available.
How was your thoughts if you're Chard choice? What are you thinking right now? What's the plan going forward at Texas?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, look, we all know Jadon Blue, what we've seen, he is a super talented kid, home run speed. He's probably the fastest guy on the team. Look, he's got 80 carries in his college career. He didn't play his senior year in Klein. He sat out that year to avoid injury. So he's kind of unproven. Can he handle 20 plus touches a game? I don't know. And I don't think Sark and the UT coaching staff necessarily want to see that because he hasn't ever proven himself a workhorse. Um, so you're going to need some of those freshmen, to step up, at least one of them. And Trey Wisner is a really good player. I think Texas envisioned him as kind of a third down back this year. So that necessarily wouldn't be a bad thing if he got an expanded role because he's a nice player, especially catching the ball out of the backfield. But it would put a lot of pressure on Blue, and I'm wondering if he could handle it.
Yeah, I do believe that the CJ Baxter news is serious, which once again, we're recording at 12:30. And by the time you actually listen to this or watch this, the news could be completely out there. And what I'm about to say is completely irrelevant. But Steve Sarkisian doesn't necessarily lean on a bell cow running back, but he does like a main guy. And he has had a 1,000-yard rusher in every season he's been a head coach, with the exception of that USC 2015 season where he was fired 5 games in. So we know that he does like to have a main guy, and maybe that just doesn't happen if CJ misses an extended amount of time. Maybe this is a committee approach with Jaden Blue leading the way, but Trey Wisner getting a bigger role, and those freshmen needing to grow up and grow up fastly, or grow up quickly, fastly. I don't know if that's a word or not, but
Same thing, Daniel.
yeah.
You're rolling. Keep going.
So maybe this is a committee look going forward, or maybe even if CJ Baxter comes back and is maybe a little limited, it's still a committee look, and maybe it's just not that 1,000-yard rusher like we saw with Jonathan Brooks, like we saw with Bijan the 2 years before that. So obviously a lot of questions to answer going forward. Like we said, we'll probably talk to Steve on Monday, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more clarity before then. But I'm sure there are a lot of Texas fans holding their breath right now. But we did talk about the running back depth at Texas. In your opinion, what is the deepest room in the Texas locker room? Because I'm assuming we're not talking about the running back depth chart, but where are you going? Thomas, we'll let you start with this one.
I mean, this is going to sound goofy because Devondre Sweat and Byron Murphy are both in the NFL now, and they started at defensive tackle last year. But that defensive tackle rotation, and again, I'm writing on this at statesman.com. I'm taking a look at it right now, so it's in my mind. But it is like it could be 9 deep if a couple of youngsters like Alex January and Sadir Mitchell develop. Even without those guys, it's about 7 deep just at the tackle spot. These transfer guys they brought in, like Big Bill Norton or Kill Bill,
Bill.
David Bender likes to call him, Savea, Jermaine Lowell. These are all veteran seniors and grad transfers who've each played in at least 40 games. So you got Alfred Collins, you got Vernon Broughton are going to be good starters. I know the coaches love Aaron Bryant and Dre Bledsoe, a couple of talented sophomores. That defensive tackle rotation, I think, is deeper than I realized, and I think deeper than maybe some fans realize.
Said who gets your vote?
Man, I like the receiving crew. Silas Bolden is on campus now. Isaiah Bond, Ryan Wingo, who dazzled during the spring game. My cousin Matthew Golden from Houston. John Tay Cook, DeAndre Moore. Man, and the beat goes on and the beat goes on. There's a lot of talented receivers on this crew. I don't know that you get to play them all. I don't know that you get to play them all. I mean, I didn't even mention the youngster that keeps getting mentioned, Parker Livingstone. I mean, they have a lot of receivers, man. They have a really good mix of guys that can get deep, and then they have the good slot guy. Silas can be the possession guy. Matthew Golden does a little bit of everything. It'll be interesting to see if they develop that chemistry over the summer. Remember after the spring game, I asked Sarkisian how important would it be for Quinn and Arch to work with these guys before the summer. We'll see if they developed any chemistry during the non-coaching periods, because that's going to be key, especially given this running back situation. So I'm excited, really, really excited about the receiving crew, especially Jonte Cook. I really think he could just go off this year and take the top off of opposing secondaries and set it up for other players. That's assuming that Quinn Ewers is throwing the deep ball as well as we saw him throw it in the spring and that pro timing day. So I'm going with Winehouse, Daniel.
They don't have that 6'4" in the red zone like they had with Adonai Mitchell, but that's it. You're right. They seem to have everything else.
Give me, I'll take the offensive line, which is not something we're used to saying at the University of Texas, at least over the last few years. But this is a line they're returning 4 starters. Obviously, losing Christian Jones is not ideal, but I'd rather lose 1 starter than 5. They have a good O-line coach in Kyle Flood, and Cole Hudson started 13 games as a sophomore or as a freshman and is not starting on this offensive line. Malik Ogbo, they had to line him up at tight end last year to get him some reps. I mean, they just have an embarrassment of riches and depth that they've been able to hold on to, not lose to the transfer portal, and continue to develop with this coaching staff. So I would pick the offensive line, which once again is not something we're used to necessarily saying at Texas. At least, they had that like 10-year span where they didn't have any offensive linemen drafted, but that is not a problem. This is a talented group led by Kelvin Banks. Jake Majors is kind of the heart of the offensive line at the center position, and I don't think anyone should be concerned about the offensive line going into the season. And maybe they can contend for that Joe Moore Award, which I know is important to those linemen. But enough football. I know it's August. I know it's
what
lead up.
Never enough football.
20 days or something like that till the Colorado State opener, or 3 weeks from Saturday. But we got to talk about the Olympics. It's summer. Ton of Longhorns are over in Paris. They've had some success. Depending on who you ask, if you ask Texas, they've won 13 medals. If you ask me, they won 11, because I don't think a relay should count 3 times. But who has been the Longhorn that has stood out the most to you? Said, we'll start with you. I don't know if the Summer Olympics are a big thing in the Golden House. I know every night, Chastity, my wife, turns it on, and my son Charlie has turned into a gymnast in our living room. Very excited about the Olympics. But is this the summer of Julien Alfred? Is that answer 1A and
Love
everyone
her.
in second place? Or
Absolutely.
Ryan
Absolutely.
Krauser, Kevin Durant, they've made history. Do they jump into
Love-
the picture as well?
If you're the fastest woman in the world, you get all the props. And you guys remember in March of 2023, and Danny, you retweeted it, I appreciated it, or re-exed it, whatever they call it. I asked Julien Alfred in March of 2023 on the eve of the Texas relays, are you the fastest woman in the world? I don't know about all of that. I got a lot of work to do. I go, you got the potential. And she smiled because she's put in, and then here we are, she's put in the work, and she wins the Olympic 100 and comes in second in the 200. Shout out to Gabby Thomas, who won it, UT grad, who works in Austin, volunteers. So I got to give it to Julien Alfred with a real nod. Shout out to the greatest shot putter in the history of the Olympics, Ryan Krauser, 3 straight gold medals in the Olympics, man. We don't give shot putters their due, but that is amazing. Kevin Durant, all-time leading scorer in Olympic history, male or female. That speaks to his longevity. But of all of those, I got to go with Julien Alfred. No Longhorn has ever won the Olympic 100. And the Olympic 100 is still the marquee event of the games. And that's the one that everyone's watching. We'll all be watching Noah Lyles, but we'll give Julien Alfred. I'm giving her the nod. What a great moment for the St. Lucian kid. Island of 180,000 people. And she can run for mayor tomorrow and win in a landslide. Good for her.
And that silver in the 200, just awesome.
Is that your pick, TJ? Who are you going with?
No, I'm going to go with one of the newest Longhorns and probably the oldest Longhorn at the Olympics, Bob Bowman, the new swimming coach at Texas. Have you guys been seeing what his pupils are doing?
Yes.
I'm not even talking about the Texas swimmers, and there's a lot. He's also the personal coach for Leon Marchand, the French guy who's won 4 gold medals. He's a personal coach for Hubert Coase, the backstroker who's a gold medalist, who's transferring from Arizona State to Texas, by the way, to join Bob. Casper Corbeau, the Dutch guy who's also a medalist, and then just all the Longhorns who've medaled. I mean, Bowman has a deep pool of talent, you might say.
Hey, Danny, did you see during the men's basketball game, LeBron left with an injury, and he comes back and he sits down and the crowd goes wild and they put the camera on him and he's going, thank you, thank you. They weren't cheering for him. Leo Marchand had walked in.
Yeah,
They went nuts. And LeBron thought they were cheering for him. Get over yourself, LeBron.
Old Leon's bigger than LeBron right now, in France at least.
Oh my God. Yeah, Leo is a god over there.
Man.
Yeah, the answer is Julien. I mean, that's
yeah,
world's fastest woman. That's an incredible first Longhorn, as we mentioned, win men or women in the 100. That's an easy answer, but you don't want to overlook Ryan Krauser. I mean, that's a historic feat that he had. Scotty Scheffler's had a year, both on and
He had
off.
a baby too.
Yeah,
he went to jail.
You have
had a year.
Yeah, he has had a year. Maybe one day he can write a book about his 2024 by itself. There's still Longhorns to watch. I mean, me and Setter, we've been longtime fans of Tara Davis Woodhull, and she's, I think, goes tomorrow in the long jump, see if she can get the gold. She's obviously favored in that event. Kevin Durant's going for a gold. Chiaka with the volleyball team, see if she can get her second gold. So I mean, there's still Longhorns going for.
Julien probably running in a relay, I would think.
Well, I don't know
I
if
don't know if St.
I don't know
Lucia's
if St.
got enough
Lucia had
talent.
4 athletes to send over, but
Oh no,
Yeah,
Julian doesn't run for us. She doesn't run from us.
yeah.
Gabby will be running in a relay though.
yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I
St.
imagine
Lucia, they didn't, yeah, they didn't qualify a relay.
Danny, where
hopefully,
does Texas rank if it was a country right now? Do you know?
I think when I checked yesterday after
Well,
Julian won silver was 13th. Um,
13.
and once
Unbelievable.
again, the stats fluctuate depending on whether you think they've won 11 or 13. But with the 11, it's 13th. But
Yeah.
I hope that Texas finds a way to, whether it's at a football game this fall or something, bring its Olympians out there, during halftime to kind of shower them some love because they have accomplished a lot this year, and that's been a lot of fun to watch. I'm sure the Texas fans have loved it as well. But that's gonna do it for us. Statesman.com is gonna have a lot of content over the next couple of days as we continue through fall camp and also catch up with all this news as well as do our normal profiles and columns and all that fun stuff in the lead up to the season. But thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Shout out to my grandmother who turned 89 today. She is definitely
Oh
not,
man,
but shout out
that's
to
awesome.
Dee Dee and love her. But I hope she's having a lot of fun today and hope you
I
all.
bet she's not watching. I bet she's not watching.
She better not be watching. But hope you all are having a great day. We'll see y'all down the road. Deuces.